Okay, so it's just become the age of the online event or the age of the challenge, and they're incredibly important. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to do one, how to come up with an idea, and then I'm going to get into actually the specific framework. So it's not just an online event and then nothing happens after that. It's a way that you can actually create some substantial income and have a series of upsells and turn it into a fantastic business model. So you're going to learn a lot in this video, and I think you're really going to like the model at the end. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Before you get started, make sure to click the notification bell and make sure to subscribe so that you can get more videos like this in the future. Okay, so first let's start out with the idea, then we'll get into how to set up the right platform, we'll talk about how to promote, and then we'll finally end with the framework and the business model and a couple tricks that are really going to be important. I'll go through the first part pretty quickly because some of it's general information and some of you may already know that. But first thing is the idea. Obviously, it's got to be interesting. I highly recommend combing the news and trying to find the most interesting news items going on in your industry. For example, Google recently came out with the Core Web update, and that's going to be this big Google update. It just happened, so we did an event around that, right? So you're going to want to do an event, or you're going to want to do a challenge, and you're going to want to do that around whatever your expertise is, something timely, so something that's interesting in the news, right? So how to increase your website visitors, 10,000 visitors a month, using the Core Web Vital update, changes, for example, right? And you're going to want to make sure it's related to what you sell. So I would only do a challenge myself on digital marketing, and you should only do a challenge yourself on something that you're an expert in. Because if I did it on surfing or soccer, which I also love, I have nothing to sell you off of that. So it's a pretty important concept. And then also it's super important that you add massive, massive value. So don't just get people on, try to sell them stuff. Keep people on, create an amazing presentation, add massive value. I'm going to talk to you more about how to do that. Okay, one other really important thing you need to think about is the platform. There's a lot of different platforms out there that you can use to run these online events. It's actually probably one of the most important things. So I'm going to talk you through a couple basic items. Gotowebinar, you can just use that webinar platform. You can get set up, in a matter of minutes, and you can just go ahead and have an online event. Very, very easy. Zoom is pretty similar, and what's nice about it is you can set up a custom landing page. It goes into the Zoom. They've got this great webinar, feature. It's an additional plan, both for GoToMeeting, it's an additional plan for GoToWebinar, and for Zoom, it's an additional plan for the webinar feature. It allows you to have more people. But what's nice about Zoom is it allows you to broadcast live and allows you to broadcast in general throughout a variety of different social platforms, which gives you more reach. So most people are using that. Now you could also have your event just be a Facebook Live, or you could have it be a LinkedIn Live, or any type of live, an Instagram Live, wherever you want to try to build people to a certain channel. And then you also have the addition to do premieres. So if you're not comfortable just going live, which a lot of people aren't, you can just set up a premiere, and that premiere is going to allow you just to set a time and get it scheduled. The next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to promote, and you're going to need to just really hustle this thing up and put a ton of energy into it to get people to show up. So you're going to have to do quite a bit of email marketing, push notification, chat messaging, whatever type of audience you have out there is really important you do that. And then it's very important also to run advertising. So for example, if you had $5,000 that you ran in advertising, and if it was a $50 cost per acquisition, so $50 to get one person to sign up, for $5,000, you would get 100 people to come to your event, right? I'm going to break down the business model more on how you make money on that in a minute. And then in addition to that, if you had $50,000, just 10xing it, showing you what that would look like. It was a $50 cost per acquisition, you would get 1,000 people to your event, right? So, if it was a 1% conversion rate, one person just became a straight customer, and that customer paid you $50,000, then you would get, $50,000 on your $5,000, right? And then if you double that, it's $500,000 and whatnot. But that's not really the way to think about it. It is one way to think about it. It's the most basic model. The other way to think about it is what I'm going to go over at the end, but it's very important that you use all the different networks out there to advertise, obviously. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, display, programmatic. You can do media buys, blog posts, anything you can to just have that event be out there everywhere. And I also just love to set a nice little top banner on your website globally on the entire website and have a countdown timer to get a sense of urgency in there. That can get a lot of people to want to sign up. So let's get into the framework, which might be the most important thing and one of the last things I'm going to cover today. So the framework. You need to basically first start by giving somebody the ability to learn something for free. Okay, that's what this is all about. They're going to learn something for free, and or they're going to be challenged to do something. Challenged to get ranked #1 in Google. Challenged to cut their pay-per-click budget by $10,000 a month and increase the return on ad spend by $50,000, right? Challenged to send their first email marketing campaign, or challenged to build a list to 1,000 visitors, right? So these are the type of things that you need to think about. Is it going to be a challenge, or is it going to be educational? The next thing is you need to think about, are there going to be prizes that are associated with this? So if you kind of build some hype around it, people are excited, there's prizes throughout it, that's going to make people want to attend and it's going to be more appealing. Also, having multiple speakers is great. So the framework's very important. So are you going to have one speaker one day? That's not that exciting. What if you have 5 speakers over 5 days, right? And what if there's 2 speakers a day at 10 and at 1 p.m., for multiple days? That's an event, right? And that can help you get more information into your customers so that they eventually, feel like they've just got a ton of value from this challenge, and it's something that, is going to, just stick in their head, right? So that's really important. Multiple speakers can bring much more value to it. And so you need to think about how many days is it going to be, how many times during the day, and what is the challenge going to be. But the most important thing is the framework of it, okay? So let's get into that. So first, number 1, you have the event. It's going to be free, or it's going to be very low cost, okay? Number 2, you're going to have an offer within the event at some point. For example, maybe it's a $300 special report that anybody can buy right now, right? On the third thing that you could have is another offer, right? So another offer where potentially it's an additional event that they can sign up for, right? You've been with me for a couple days. Oh, we're gonna have another event. This other event, the next one's gonna be $100. If you sign up right now, you're gonna get 20% off, right? These are just examples of things that people are doing in frameworks, right? The next thing is item number 4, you could have another offer. So think about this for a second. You've got people who come in, they pay a little bit or it's free. They've got one offer that's, $300 for example. They've got another offer that's $100 for example. And now you're at the very end of the event. And what do you want to do there? Well, what's the high ticket offer, right? What is that expensive thing that is kind of your main product or main service or main thing that you have attached to this that you want to try to get in front of the people who really have enjoyed what you've come up with, right? So for example, that could be something around $3,000, right? So if you take the $3,000 for the high ticket offer, you add that on top of the $300 for the special report, right? You add that on top of the $100 for the additional event. So say somebody buys all of those things, what do you get? Well, you get $3,400, right? So $3,400, if you get 10 people to do that, what is that, right? It's $34,000, right? So you've just made a great amount of money. Now, if you got 50 people to do it, right? So say you got 50 out of these 1,000 people who signed up, 50 of the actual people did all of that. That would be $170,000 that you made on your $50,000 investment on advertising and any other type of cost that you had. So a lot of stuff around online events. You can just have a super basic one, or you can go totally nuts and try to make it a whole business model like this. But these are how people are doing events. These are how people are doing challenges. And this is a great framework that should hopefully be really helpful to you. If you have any questions, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ask a question. I love hearing from you. That's why I do these videos. See you next time. Bye.